Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I know that this has already been covered quite a bit with the roadmap to 2025 that's coming up. I kind of want to go over it myself and give my own opinion on this, and then have a couple of other things to talk about because I'm a little bit confused on what Wargaming is thinking, because there's a lot of issues that currently aren't addressed, and so much more that it's kind of leading to extreme stress in my end to where my burnout hits, and whenever my burnout hits, I can't stand it, so I disappear for a while, like right now. So January 10th, New Year's announcement for January 10th. Speaking of which, the 14th I had a really bad experience. I'll talk about that later after I go to the doctor's. So we'll find out what's going on then. Uh, news about Winterfest. Here's my news about Winterfest. It was shit. I don't really care about your news from Winterfest. Anyways, going over the roadmap. Coming soon, the Viper season, the new game board, new mechanics, which is rocket boosters. Kind of wondering how that's going to be implemented. I'm a little bit excited about the Japanese heavy being released for the World War II state of things. Coming soon to the following areas: the final phase of development, new tech trees every single season, which is going to be kind of, in my eyes, this is a bit obsessive. New tech trees every single season. Hopefully, it's split between Garbage War and World of Tanks. So every single season, new tech tree line. This begins on January 14th with the introduction of Cold War Eastern. Okay, so yeah, see, like I don't care. It's Cold War. New event game board. Game board, our new feature. This is something I was looking over, and I was a little bit confused because we already have challenges inside the game that we're capable of going over and actually going through each and every single tier. Thing is that currently I can't actually go through the tiers in this one. Okay, because it's completed. But the Mantis, for instance, going over these, win a battle, place top 5 XP earners in your team. I kind of feel like these challenges are uh, a bit underwhelming because it's just times of progression. For instance, equivalent to 1.5 times your maximum health in 4 or more battles. See, like a challenge like that, that's completely acceptable. But there should be others where it's like 2 times your health, 6 times the amount of times, and then you need to block a certain amount as well. None of these challenges have blocking damage. None of them have spotting damage, except for, I believe it's the chisel, and then one other. But if you know what tanks you want to play during that time, it's very simple to go over these and complete them without much of an issue. So we already have a board in game that we're capable of utilizing, but out of all the UI changes, they're all like, well, let's change another UI because that just sounds better. But there is blocked right here where you have a shield and a line going through it, so I'm kind of hoping that this is block damage. But then again, it's like in any number of battles, 16,500 damage in any number of battles, and free reroll. Okay, so we see free reroll. This is what kind of had me confused, because something tells me that it's going to cost gold to reroll these again and again and again. So they're kind of putting something into the game to where they're going to be charging people more money to be able to complete it. Because whenever it comes down to looking at the contracts, again, hold wide a complete contract for 16,000 gold, which this tank isn't. The tank's not even worth 16,000 gold. It's the biggest 200% price increase of a vehicle you'll ever see in your life. God, you can tell I'm ecstatic about this. The Viper season, to be honest, this is another tier 10. It's already been confirmed based upon everything people are looking over at, like Tanks GG and everything else. Scratch that. It is a tier 9. Took me a moment to find it. Rewards. BT is the BZT 70. That's going to be dropped into the game. 250 turret armor, 300 millimeters effective. We're going to drop the gun down, maximum gun depression real quick. Take a look at this. At the barrel, 376, 377. Let's zoom out, get a little bit better here. 372. At least you get a weak spot to aim at. 2 of them, left and right. Lower plate 150, top plate 300. No, it's going to be ricochet. So 140 millimeter upper plate, side armor, like 100 millimeters with 50 millimeters of spaced armor. 30 millimeters of space armor. So you got side skirts right here. Under armor overmatch 30 millimeter. So there's gonna be a little bit of an issue when this thing's cresting hills or slightly doing side scraping. If he's kind of propped up a little bit, you'll be able to abuse that under armor. Top armor, 35. And something tells me whenever this gets dropped into the game, it's not going to be a tier 9. It's going to be tier 10. They're going to up armor it somewhere. They might make this lower plate like 300, 240, and then just say, hey, it's a tier 10 now. So, yeah, watch out for that. My hopes are not high, if you want me to be honest with you. They are not high at all. So, BZT70. Not exactly ecstatic about this anniversary, celebration. 10 years. It's 11 years Wargaming. Fix your shit. New tech tree lines, new mechanics, rocket boosters, blah 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 blah. Because that's exactly what I see. We don't have anything in game to reference it, so it's BS until I see it. And whenever I do see it, I'm gonna be putting time into it to really try and understand it and learn how to play it, because it's exactly what I'm gonna be going over. Next system in game that actually caught my eye that I wanted to do was new in-game clan system regiments. Regiments is a brand new feature to bring clans inside of the Modern Armor game. They're already in. Clans are already inside the game, Wargaming. And the only thing that you are doing right here, and this is something that not a lot of people dude, I've watched everyone's videos on this, believe me. Like, I haven't seen anyone mention this. The amount of focus fire that is going to be thrown towards the top clans is going to be ungodly. Because you're going to look at this board and you're going to be all like, oh, well, there's Asylum. Oh, there's Decoy. Oh, there's 4CAD. Oh, there's these guys too. And suddenly, now you see them inside the game, and your first reaction is it's like a mouse. It's like a Type 5. What do you do against the individual? Oh, you load nothing but premium rounds because you want to kill them because you know that they're good, or you know that they're going to be hard to take down. So now it's time to spam them. So the only thing that this update is going to bring to the game is more toxicity. Now, there is a couple of things I can mention that's like maybe, just maybe, this can be beneficial to the game, and it's going to make people more competitive inside the matchmaker, or it's going to turn it into an all-out slaughter fest against very specific people because of who you see and what you want to do to chase after that person. So depending on how Regiments is implemented, this could be good, this could be bad. It just depends. On top of that, new crossover and collaborations. Then they were talking about if you like pizza, which, in all honesty, I'm sorry, Wargaming. I'm 26. I don't care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, okay? The last time I saw anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle related was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1984. When was the movies that released for it? Because the last one I remember watching was like, movies in order. Yeah, see, that's the art style I remember whenever I look at it. And then all the newer ones, I'm kind of like, whatever. So you get the 2009, you get the 2022, and the 2009 is not the one I watched. The one I watched was older than that. 1990. There you go. That's the one I watched. And just like, what is it? Randy the Duck? Or the Duck movie, whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. And, after going over that entire list and thinking to myself, hey, Wargaming, we still have tanks in game that need a little bit of love. All the pneumatic suspension tanks in the game still have the bullshit of automatically, no matter what you do, it's no matter what, engaged pneumatic suspension, which makes it impossible to auto drive. It makes it impossible to do anything that you want to do just casually. It essentially just gives you the finger. So I'm confused on what they're going to do, because this is something I like. This is something I enjoy. I like tanks like this, but unfortunately I hate the mechanic. And since there's like no one that plays these tanks and no one's really complaining about them, we're not going to be seeing anything done to these tanks because no one talks about them. The reason why no one talks about them is because no one owns them. And no one cares to play them. They already made up their mind. They're already done and over with. And if you want my honesty, Type 63 right here in my eyes, if this thing ever had its pneumatic suspension actually working properly and was readjusted properly, this would be a very scary tank in the game. In the times that I've played this tank, I have multiple 6,000 damage matches inside this tank. For instance, right here, no marks of excellence, really close to the first mark. I got 35 matches inside of it, 2,480 damage average, which is actually really good for a tier 8. 60% win rate, short in game, damage ratio, survived 34% of the time, hit ratio 80%. These tanks are amazing, and they're not getting the love that they need. They're simply being left in the background because not enough people complain. So, yeah, I don't exactly have a whole lot to say except for I haven't been playing the game as much as I want to be. For instance, there's 39 days of premium on my account, and 11 of those days are gone because I just haven't played at all. So for me, I'm gonna go back to practicing Hell Let Loose. Go back to playing my Skyrim playthrough. Go back to playing a little bit more War Thunder, Halo Wars. Yeah, there we go. That's my whole list. And continue on doing all that again. I might start back up on the game into the next season, or I might do some content on some other tanks. I might do a video on the Type 63 and the pneumatic suspension on how it's the worst implementation in the game that has ever been brought into the game. But then again, there's a lot more worse things to be brought into the game, like the T249 and the Turan and the AVRE. Oh man, there is a giant list of tanks that I can put down, and it's just depressing. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on this season. I don't really care. I stopped caring a while ago. I need to stop caring because everything that they do is not to benefit the player base anymore. It is to benefit their own pockets, is what it feels like. And their focus that they have, to be honest, they don't have a focus. It doesn't feel like they have a focus. There are so many more issues within the game that it's not even funny. Along with that, there was some new information brought to light about one very specific perk, and I actually had to do this in a completely separate game to get, and basically modify the game to all hell and back to be able to do this properly. And I have some information on Steady Aim that I'll be dropping later on. But just know this is the most broken perk in the game. If you're not using this, you're missing every single shot. It affects 7 categories of accuracy. I'll just leave it there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.